Good Monday morning, caregivers. Welcome to Let's Talk Dementia live on Facebook. I'm glad you've chosen to join me. I hope you had a good Mother's Day and I hope you enjoyed some time with family. And whether you had your mama with you or not, or maybe you reminisced about old times, I hope it was a meaningful experience. I'm going to tell you about my Mother's Day, different than anyone I've ever had. I want to thank our sponsors today, Life in the Carolinas, and you can find them at lifeinthecarolinas.com as well as on YouTube. Life in the Carolinas, where it's never a bad day for a good story. Also, we want to thank HD Imports, located on Flint Street Extension. You can reach them at 803-985-0985 for the repair of your Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Acura, and Toyota, as well as maintenance. Wonderful folks. Well, last Thursday when we had our show, I knew, and I've been telling you guys, that Mama was declining quite a lot, and met with hospice at 11 o'clock. And from the time I had left her on Tuesday, I don't see her on Wednesdays. Wednesdays are a hard day for us, and saw her on Tuesday. By the time I got here on Wednesday, and here being my mama's group home, which is where I am right at this minute, trying to hold this camera still. But by the time I got here, between Tuesday and Thursday, Mama had declined a lot. And so got her signed up for hospice, and I was glad about that. Hospice came back out on Friday morning and realized already we needed to order comfort meds. That was a possibility Mama would need them over the weekend. That being a Mother's Day weekend, getting drugs over the weekend's a problem. So got those meds in the house just in case she needed them on Friday. By Friday night, we needed them. So Mama had continued to decline, and Alzheimer's has continued to do its nasty thing for Mama. Can't tell you how grateful we are, though. I look at Mama right now. She's in her room, and she is lying perfectly still. She's not moving a muscle. She's not responding to much of anything. She will move her eyes, but she looks through you. She's not really seeing you. It's kind of interesting. Tell you a few funny things that have happened. On Thursday, when hospice was here doing their evaluation of her, she knew there were people around her, and I could see her from where I was. I was at the dining room, and I could see her sitting in her recliner in the living room. And I came towards her, and I put my arms out real big, and I'm like, "Hey, Vera Jean." She says, "Get your ass over here." That may be one of the last complete sentences I will ever hear from my mama, but it just cracked me up. I said, "Well, okay, I'm coming over there." Then we would have long periods where she wouldn't say much of anything, or she would say stuff and we didn't know what she was saying. But my niece decided to get her daddy on the phone. Now, my sister and her husband divorced some years ago, so this was Eric, getting Eric on the phone. And Mama always really liked Eric, and so she said, "Can we get Daddy on the phone, let Daddy talk to Grandma while he still can?" So, okay. I wasn't here for this, but it was neat. They put the phone up to my mama's ear, and Mama, who had not had a complete sentence in hours, just hours, hadn't said much of anything, got the phone to her ear, and Eric said, "Hey, Vera." And my mama said, "Hey," and then she goes, "To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?" It was just so funny. Where did that whole sentence come from? We don't know. And I tell you, sometimes my mama's story is a little off color, but I'm just going to tell you the whole thing. If you get offended by it, I'm sorry. I'm not out to offend you, but it is life. This is what we're dealing with. But as far as the things Mama's been able to say, she was just laying there and mumbling a few things every once in a while, and then she all of a sudden said, "Don't be a shit ass." Well, okay, we're just sitting here looking at each other. What is it we were doing that was so offensive? Just cracked me up. And then she was out again. And so now here we sit on Monday morning, and this decline started on Thursday, and she has not said a word since sometime last night. And it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. She had been able to drink through a straw, and I tried last night to get her to drink through a straw, and she wouldn't. And this morning tried, and all she do is bite that straw. She can bite. She can clench, let me tell you. But finally she did drink a little bit through the straw, but she hasn't eaten anything since, I think, Wednesday night, maybe Thursday morning. You know, God's got a plan. I wish he would send me a UPS note telling me what that plan was. I think I wish that. Maybe if I knew, I wouldn't like it. I don't know why God does what he does. I don't know why Mama's still here. He does. And that's what matters. And I take comfort in that this journey with dementia, Mama's in God's hands. Even though I try my best to do everything I can for that little white woman, she's in God's hands. That's comforting for me. Caregiver left here on, well, my days are all mixed up. She left here whatever day and said she wouldn't be back to Tuesday. And she leaned down and she said, Miss Vera, I hope I see you on Tuesday. And I said, I hope you don't. And she looked at me and said, why? I said, I hope my mama is in heaven soon and that she's not struggling like she is. She's a cute little caregiver. She's the Tammy Faye Baker of the house. She cries at everything. And she just started crying and walked out. So that's kind of where we are. I am reminded of the verse for this week. And the verse for this week from the Bible comes from my mama. And it is my favorite Bible verse. And I've used it before. And if you've listened to my show, you're going to know this Bible verse is a repeat. But honey, let me tell you, we need to repeat them all a bunch, right? But my favorite Bible verse is Romans 8:28, and it's, for we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, for those who are called according to his purpose. My mama quoted that verse to me on a Sunday night when my very first boyfriend had dumped me, and I was heartbroken. She quoted that verse to me, and it has been in my heart and mind ever since then. And if you've spent much time around me, you can vouch for the fact that you know that's my verse. And here I sit, how many ever years later? I guess I was 12. I'm 57, so almost 58, so 45 years later. And that verse is very real to me. That all things work together for good to them that love God. And that's even death. You know, we were born to die so that we could spend eternity with the Lord. My mom was working towards that. Alzheimer's is a crappy thing. It just is. It's just nasty. People will say to me, it is the worst disease ever. Maybe in your world it is. In somebody else's world, what they're dealing with is probably the worst thing ever. But I know that in it there are beautiful things. And one of my beautiful things is my mama is laying peacefully with a grip on the teddy bear I gave her for Valentine's Day. You ain't getting it out of her hands. Ding dong, doorbell. And she's content and she's happy. As happy as she's going to be. You're going to hear noise here in just a minute as people come into the living room here. And that's okay. Door alarm. But she's as happy as she can be and she's content. She's not thrashing in pain. And for that, I'm very thankful. God is God and God is good. And he always knows and does what's best for his children. Open your caregiving journey today that you will take a moment or 10 or 12 to be thankful. Find those things in your life that maybe you haven't been as thankful for and lift thanksgivings up for them. Thankful for calm today. Thankful for calm. It's a good thing. All right. Special thanks again to our sponsors, Life in the Carolinas at lifeinthecarolinas.com and HD Imports on Flint Street Extension in Rock Hill. Planning on being back tomorrow. If I'm not here, you stick with me. I will be back. Planning on trying to catch you for a little while each day, no matter what's going on in my world. I love being there, being here with you, and seeing your words pop up on the screen and contacting you later by Facebook. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.